Okay, there we go.
On group 13 quiz on number 11, I know that one was, the number was greater or something than the alpha. So it says failed to reject because it had insufficient, and then the word different was in that one. And I remember looking at the thing and I couldn't figure out why was it different. But I don't know if anyone.
Let me see. Which one is it? 13? The homework or group?
The group quiz.
Group meeting quiz. And what number?
11.
And you're wondering why it's different?
Well, yeah, I just know he made a big issue about, I know that it was fell, insufficient, like I said, I don't have it in front of me. But I remember he made an issue about it being different, and I remember thinking, why is it different? Because it seemed like it was both zeros. I felt like the numbers he were looking at was 2 zeros, and I thought, well, why is it different? But
well, that's if it was, let me see. Oh, you don't have to see the, oh, wait, let me look.
That's the problem is I think you have to pull up probably the data, because I remember looking at the data and thinking, and my mic, because I tried to ask him questions, but my mic wasn't working. I took it off mute, and I'd say, even when he was asking who we could hear, I said hello, and he never really responded. I thought he did, because I don't know, he was saying yes to someone else, or I don't know if my computer wasn't working, but that's happened before.
I think it's because it says suppose instead that you use the alternative hypothesis. So you have the equal sign with the slash in it, which means that it's different. So
maybe that's why.
Is that why it's different? Because anytime you see that, it's always different.
That may be it. I just remember, again, I thought, I'm going to have to go back through the video, because I remember thinking, I thought he was looking at 2 zeros, and I said, they're the same. So either he was referencing something else, and I was looking at the 2 zeros.
That's how I took it. Like it's different because of
and that makes sense. Because I know, when there's a not equal to sign, for sure, that's makes it different.
I want to say that I think he was talking about, when he was talking about the slash through the equal, when it says different, that it's always that. Because when it says greater than or less than, it means
one-tailed.
Not that. Does that sound right, Tammy?
Yeah, it sounds right to me. I think so.
Then I wrote down number 15 was tricky, and so I made a note there to notice the trick.
Because he said that?
Yeah, but 15 is tricky, and it's because there wasn't enough information. You know how you're sitting there trying to guess what it is? I'm still trying to figure out the independence, and I thought it was interesting that Wanda brought up PQ plots. And then I was so glad you said that, Tammy, because at the end, because I thought, I wanted to say, are we going to have to know this on the test? Because I thought, we haven't talked anything about PQ plots and doing one set of information versus both. And so it was nice that he showed, but I like the fact he says that's not in the exam. So.
Well, the thing of it is through the homework assignment and the readings, it said you have to figure out if it's a normal curve or normal graph, and if you don't have the information or any of that, then you have to pull up the Q-plot to see if it has that normal progression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, most of the time it says normal distribution for a large sample size, so generally you don't have to worry about that.
Well, and that's why I asked him, because in all the quizzes we just did, none of it said, look at the Q-plot to figure it out. So that's why I wanted to ask him.
Well, and that's what I wanted, but I knew my mic wasn't working. And so it's like, but it was interesting that, he just finally said just add and subtract the upper and the lower bound, instead of trying to do a little graph. So that was, because to me, I think that's a little safer.
Sometimes it's easier just to do the formula than to figure out where to plug in what number.
But again, those are a few questions I had. I know when I was going, but I thought, well, I can't. And then I was still trying to figure out, when he said Utah, he put us the number one, or Colorado, he put it number one and changed his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've still got to somewhere in my head figure out how I know who comes first.
Well, it doesn't matter unless it says. And on that one, it said right in the problem, use
Utah first.
Utah first.
Colorado first. Well, and I guess the other one that didn't have the information, he said, I just remember something somewhere, him saying, you have to use common sense, and because this is 90, remember the one we did on 90 days versus 14 days of air flights? I think that was one that it wasn't given, and he says, it just makes sense that 90 days is going to be less expensive, so it should be a negative number when, they did the...
And see, I think 14 days would be less expensive because empty seats, they want to hurry and sail. So when he said that, I was like, I thought it'd be opposite. But
see, and I've always figured it's the other way around. I think if you get close to 14, probably because there's not seats.
Mm-hmm.
And then they figure they can get just...
You looked at the data that was shown there, and sometimes it was just the opposite. So to make a blanket statement, like you said, I don't think was true.
So then it was interesting, on the million, on the, where he made, the mistake of not putting in the test value, that he just put in 3 instead of 3 million. So I think that's good practice. I loved when mistakes, because then that's something, I might think I could do. So I like the fact that, how you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So that was good. But for me, basically, it's trying to get in my head what's paired, what's independent, what's yada yada yada. I've got to go through all this again because I'm still swimming. But I'm glad
that's pretty easy to figure out. The paired and independent.
Well, you could tell that Lisa. It sounds like Lisa's already taken this course and had to retake it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that, so I kind of get the impression from her other math teacher, obviously they didn't prepare them like he is. So that's why every time I'm just, thank you. I'm so grateful because, and by going through a little pre-practice exam, I like the fact he's going to do it earlier this time.
Yeah, me too.
So, because I've got 2 exams again next week, the psych and this one, and so I need to get started way early.
Yeah, I'm not going to jump the gun on this test this time.
I hope he puts out a video like he did last time going through those. That really helped me.
That was nice if you don't understand it. I mean, and what's great is you can say, yep, I understand this much, and I understand this section, and then you can just like, okay, I don't for this, and so then for sure you have something to review to help you understand. But I kind of like, even with your comment last night, Pam, where, well, Excel works better, and, he's just trying to help us get to the right answer. So whatever works good for you, but I'm too afraid now to do Excel because they've made such a big deal about SPSS. I just feel like I need to stay in that so I am getting the right information.
Well, yeah. He convinced me last night. I'm going to force myself to use SPSS.
So, anyway. So, other than, I'm just pretty much just try not to stress out, just knowing I just got to go through everything all over again.
Yeah. So what is this group effort that we have in week 9?
Okay, now I went to group lesson 9. Did you guys? I went to lesson 9 and I didn't see anything about a group project. Looked like all
I thought the group project was due at the end of the semester.
So I wonder if he's got that information from Brother Doria, saying that that's maybe when we start. So where's my phone? Anyway, because I asked him, because he says, hi, this is Jovi, I got your number from and I thought, yeah. And he said, just want to know if there's anything I can help with the group project. And I said, and when we meet, and I said, well, we meet Thursdays at 11. And I said, I don't know much. I don't know anything about a group project, so anyway, I don't know if he's got it from someone else and he's got a little insight that we don't, but he acts like what he said is it looks pretty easy, so I don't know what he's looking at. But he says it looks pretty easy.
Nothing in 9 and 10. I'm moving through it right now.
Maybe it's in our, do you think it's in our syllabus?
I don't. It would be on these week things, wouldn't it?
I just think.
There's. Why do we only have one lesson week 11?
Oh, I'm so grateful because that's when I'm having surgery.
Did you plan that? Did you see
Yes,
that there's?
could you please? I know. Actually, when I was thinking about doing it, because my daughter will be here in July, and with my daughter disabilities, and I push her in a wheelchair, and if she has a drop seizure, I won't be able to pick her up. So I'm doing it during class, which is not so. But I was so what convinced me to do it over the 4th of July was when I saw that we only had 4 that one week, and I thought, okay, that'll help, because I'll probably be pretty high and stupid.
Okay, so week 13 says project presentations. So it looks like week 13 is when they're due. So
I wondered, because I wonder if he was one that was asking him, I need to be in a group, I don't have a group, and maybe he told him that by week 9 is when we start, so maybe he explained something to him.
Because look at this, at the very end of week 14, there's one called a group project. Do you see that at the very bottom? It says group project, final project, and it says it opens up June 20th. So to design the study is due June 20th. So
that's the last day of class.
June 20th? No.
July 20th. July. So we have a whole month then.
Right. So yeah, week 9. So it says here that you and your group will complete a final project together. The project is divided into 7 steps. The first 5 steps are the same steps you have been seen in the readings. So then it's divided up into 7 steps, and first we have to design the study, and that's due the end of week 9. And then we have to collect the data, which is due the end of week 11. Describe the data is due at the end of week 12. Make inference is due at the end of week 13. Take action, it's due at the same time also, 13. Well, most of it's due with that week, I guess.
You still kind of get what we're doing?
Some kind of
It's
study.
like we have to divide it all up. I don't know.
Well, anyway, he reached out to say, what can I do to help? And I just said, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it sounds like in week 9 we'll start that.
Yeah.
Like that Thursday.
Well, it's due week 9.
Ooh.
So we need to start it before then.
Well, we better be getting some instruction.
I know.
What week are we on? 6?
7, aren't we?
Yeah, 7.
So that's, wow. Why haven't we been told anything then? That would have been a question you would have asked yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Does this guy know he needs to probably meet with us in order to be doing the project with us?
Well, and I think that's why he said something, and so why he reached out, and so that's why I put his phone number down so we could add it and call him and see if he answers. But
we need his email though to bring him into our group. Did he want to meet with us today?
Well, he didn't say. He just says, when are you meeting and what do you want me to do on the project, is what he said. So he did ask about meeting. So I got the impression he was going to meet with us, and then he wanted to know if there's anything what we wanted him to do. And I thought, well, I don't know anything about the project. I hadn't heard anything. So I guess by next week, I think for sure when we meet on Wednesday is to bring up, obviously we need to start doing something next week if it's due. Unless it's something that quick that we have to know if it's due the following week. So that's why we need to at least start by next week.
Right. Well, the first step's design the study. So we just need to come up with
questions.
Right. What we're going to do.
When we talk about designing a study, the question is what study? So are we supposed to come up with our own study and what questions? I wonder if we're coming up with our own.
Yeah.
So what kind of things would you want to do a study on? I guess we can start with that.
How many people like chocolate versus white chocolate? Something yummy and easy.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm all about easy and yummy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we could do. How many people would let their kids go in a same-sex toilet? I don't know, something.
Yeah.
That,
I said easy, not controversial.
well, I figured that would be easy because it's controversial.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm just trying to think of something we could get a lot of data. Something would be
Right.
I don't know. We could do one on marijuana. I've got some
Who wants
experience
to
there.
propose being in that study?
See, I actually have the cannabis for my
As
daughter.
easy as Coke and
So my
Coke or
daughter
Pepsi.
Yeah. Coke or Pepsi?
my daughter has seizures, and in Utah, if you have certain kind of seizures, you qualify. You have to pay for a license, just like a gun permit or a driver's license. But I've got that for her, and so I've actually got some cannabis. But that's another one that's hot.
Mm.
But anyway, okay. But anyway,
So
I
let's
guess
just think about it this week and come up with ideas.
so. Don't you think that's what it is? We have to come
Yeah.
up with our own study.
Yeah.
Is that what you're guessing?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Because to design, we have to come up with a question, and we have to come up with a population.
Yeah.
Well, how big does it have to be is what I'm wondering.
Well, we wanted at least 30, so we have a normal
That's true.
probability, right?
Right. Coke or Pepsi would, of course, then would have to. Okay, that's that how that's always kind of a thing, a Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah, but do you know, here's the controversial part. We could ask LDS people how many people feel like it's right to drink it and how many people feel like it's wrong.
There she go. And how many people sneak and drink it anyway if they think it's wrong?
Yeah.
That's
Funny.
a good one.
Okay, so let's just think of it this week. And
Okay,
if you contact Jovi or if he contacts you, just tell him we're thinking about it.
Okay, so it sounds like the first on the 9th week we have to turn in our design study. Is that the first step?
Right.
So I guess review the design steps and study steps. What we'd want to do a study on,
Mm-hmm.
and what would be the questions? What would be our population? What else? Isn't it just figuring out the population?
The null hypothesis
Oh, yeah.
and the alternative hypothesis.
Okay, so what? Okay. So I guess we would have the null be, if we were to do like how many think it's wrong to drink Pepsi and how many what would we say the null would be? That Mormons think it's wrong to drink caffeinated drinks? Caffeinated pop? Would that be the null?
I think it would be that it would be less than people. Like, I think less people think it's wrong.
So the alternative would be, because the null has to be equal to something.
Right.
So
do we come up with that, or do we have to do it based off of a study that's done already? Because that's where you get the null, isn't it? It's from from a study that's already been done.
If we just come up with a study, we don't have to do all this math on the study. We just need to
Right.
do the study.
Have they already done a study saying who likes Coke and Pepsi more?
I'm sure they have.
Somewhere.
We
don't.
I'm sure they've done a study on the adverse effects of pop on your gut.
Yeah, we all know that, right?
You know, the penny burns it, needs it, or whatever. I don't know. Okay, I guess we just need to think about it.
Okay.
I like the chocolate one too. I think that would be easy.
But is there a study? It's like they said, has already been the health benefits of chocolate. I don't know.
Well, and he may give us a study to base our new study off of. Do you know what I mean?
I guess we could email and ask him and if we have to come up with our own study or if there's some to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Does that
Right.
make sense? But anyway.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, well, at least we got kind of thinking about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys have any other questions about this week's stuff?
Just my head swimming. Anyone got any tips?
No. Did you see my question on there? Wanda answered it. I think Wanda's pretty smart. She was answering a lot last night, too.
Is there? Oh, did you ask
Yeah,
a question? What was your question?
I didn't get the whole zero thing being in the equation, but the Amber, the assistant or whatever, she got on there and answered it really well. So I get it now. Did you guys get it before?
The zero and what equation?
Like when they ask you if zero's within your probability, within your graph or something. I don't remember how they worded it.
I'll have to.
I'll have to look. But you can get on the question, but she answered it really, really well.
I do get frustrated that it sounds like our reading and homework, the prep, doesn't pertain to us.
Yes.
I kind of get the impression he's trying to talk to the powers that be about changing our class, that it should only contain stuff that affects us.
Yeah, because I watch the video of the kid doing the homework every time also. Like I watch everything, and I read everything, and this last time on 13, it's like he was doing it in Excel. And I'm like, I don't need to know it because we don't.
No,
use
I don't want to be
Excel.
confused. My issue is I don't confuse me. It's tough enough.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's Brother Doria's situation. I think he feels like a lot of us are never going to use this again. I mean, we may need to know, depending on what we go in, we may need to know, like, parts and pieces. But I don't think, I mean, he knows we'll probably never do it again.
But
So
I think just to understand the symbols. I mean, if we read a study, we'd know what HO and HA is. And we'd understand what the alpha is. I mean, that's huge for me that I've gained already. And again, I probably won't be doing a lot of stats, but I can see me reading some studies. And I've read studies, and I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know what all those symbols meant. So to me, that's huge.
That's true. Yeah.
So anyway.
I think he's just trying to talk to him and let him know, how best to help us and learn what we need to learn. I don't know.
So, and that's why I get frustrated with the homework, because it's like, don't confuse me. I'm trying to concentrate on what he's telling me I need to know, and don't confuse me with the spreadsheet that I'm not supposed to be using.
Yeah. True.
So, anyway.
True.
Okay.
Well, if nobody has anything else, I'm going to stop